name is White. So now we've made sure of things. So let's just get started. Happy Tuesday, Winston, and thanks for coming on today. I know we've been talking about this, and you and I both know this is the second take of the same agenda, but we want to come on to talk about what it meant to, live your best life and how that could
Mhm.
actually, have a financial impact on some of the planning that we do. As a wealth advisor, we want to find all of the ways to make all of your efforts amount to increasing your wealth. And there are ways that you can actually, the lifestyle that you choose and the way that you exercise and do different things can have an impact on a substantial part of your wealth plan. So today, what we wanted to talk about was some of those experiences, those lived experiences. And I have today one of my dearest friends who has agreed to share with us how it has impacted him. So Winston, tell me what you've experienced.
Yeah, absolutely. And happy to run it back. And you know what? I feel a lot of times things happen in a way that are meant to be lessons to reinforce and great opportunities to really anchor in things that are really important. There's no success without repetition, my friend. So us having to run this back again, it just anchors in the fact that you have to do the reps. You got to do the reps in life, and you got to do the reps figuratively, and you got to do the reps literally as well. And when it comes to well-being, that represents things like exercise. That represents things like the effort it takes to get up in the morning, create a routine that's surrounded around well-being, health, and wellness, mentally, physically. And I think that's something when I take a look at being in the industry myself, over 20 years and getting to speak to investment advisors and planners. Uh, when I see the ones that are really growing and making moves and have the relationships and feedback and of high quality clients, what I notice about them is that they look at the whole picture. It's not just about money, right? It's about well-being, and it's about what happens when we align meaning and when we align money together. One of the topics being healthcare is something that I'm seeing and something that the data supports in terms of the importance of having this as an aspect of the plan of the relationship to talk about health and wellness. And so, when we are talking about um, looking at ways to support nurturing continued health habits to be better in day-to-day life. One of the things that was really interesting that you shared with me was about the Manulife Vitality program that they had. And knowing that I'm a tech guy and that I could get my Apple Watch paid for, by essentially doing the things that are going to support me to be my best every day,
Yes.
like exercise, like meditation, like getting sleep, um, you know, like setting goals. Like these are all the things within the app of Manulife Vitality that uh, I get points that accumulate to things like a free Apple Watch in terms of the monthly payment discount to it. So it could be free or it could be reduced, which is a bonus because they essentially you finance it through them if you choose to. And I think that's really cool. So going to the gym, my local gym here, I do a check-in with the app, and essentially, it knows what's in the area when you get there. So it's advanced enough to have that geolocation, and then I do a check-in. 30 minutes of exercise, while you're there, then you score a certain amount of points for that. And I'll do my routines. After my routines, I meditate because what a great way for me I found to kind of cool down my body, but also to calm my mind after all of that. And I think that's really important. It's like transitions. We were talking about getting together perhaps earlier, if that was an opportunity. And hey, Winston, I'm back to back to back. and I had things going on back to back to back, but
Yeah.
also like the importance of creating the space between the things that matter so that we can show up as our best selves. And so, the fact that I love to meditate, and that's one of my one things. If I had to pick like a thing that makes some of the greatest impact in how I show up in my life, in my
Yes.
relationships, in my work and business, meditation is one of those things. And the fact that I get, you know, points to accumulate for doing something that I would see as beneficial to my overall well-being, I think it's great. So the program that you suggested in Manual Life Vitality has been tremendous. It has been naturally aligned with the principles that I live my life. And the fact that we can bring this into the conversation and elevate beyond just insurance, which tends to be a focus on the future and sometimes
Yes.
on something bad happening before something good can come about it.
That's right. That's right.
This is about doing the right things for my well-being that help to push the probability of those things further or eliminate them altogether. And the fact that there's an education component to it that allows me to learn more about certain topics of well-being, um, and have a check-in place where I can check in and see how my goals are and my progress is, and it's completely subjective. It gives you points in a strategic way, that by taking certain assessments and checks, which are completely optional, you can get bonus points for that. What a great alignment of interests is that
Yes.
by
Absolutely.
helping me to be intentional and checking certain things, I could be rewarded with points for that when it's beneficial to do that anyway. So the integrity of the app, the way the program is designed, is something that allows for a greater dimension of conversation and practice in an individual's life. And as an advisor, and as my advisor, it's allowed for that space for us to have a dialogue about the here and now, but also about the things that I can choose to do that will benefit me down the road and reward me in the meantime. And I love hitting my goals each week, Omari, because then I get to spin my wheel. And when I spin my wheel, I got a chance to get my Tim Hortons gift
Bonuses.
card and my Starbucks gift
Yes. Yes,
card
you do. Yes, you do.
and
I
the extra
mean,
points too. So they make it fun as well. So I've had a great experience.
well, you and I know, right? Like, and we have such, so many things in common as we both, great friendship, but we do know that the ability to inspect what you expect, if there's no ability to measure it, if you're then it's easy to have a random walk, and then the results are, of course, not the ones that we want. But an opportunity to be accounted for and actually have a metric that you can actually observe what you're doing, it has created this the behavior. It is really, it continues to inspire you to do more. And our conversations have never been more vibrant, because guess what, it's now a daily thing. Like, it's not even, Monday, is it Mondays, is it Wednesdays, is it Fridays? It's, the more you do, we both know, and everyone knows, it's universal, that if you do this kind of work, you're gonna have a happier life, a better life. But I really appreciated just how much you delved into it. I remember when we first started talking, it was just a nice to have, but now you've experienced a meaningful period to really measure that inspect what we what was possible. And so very excited. I really appreciate you. Thanks for coming on and just sharing this. We're gonna have more of these whenever we can and you're available. But thanks for sharing what it's meant to you. And for anyone who is interested in getting more traction with the right things that just create the right result, you know I'm happy to help you with that. So with that,
Absolutely.
Vincent, thanks again.
Yeah, my pleasure. And I'm happy to speak to anybody that wants more of an experiential feedback in terms of what it's been like for me, right? Because I think it's great when you would share it for its own merits by itself,
Yeah.
and I do and I have. But I'll leave this with you and for anyone that this might help. But I live my life quite regimented, not restricted, but regimented, and so I have certain practices
Discipline.
and habits in my discipline that
Yes.
make a difference in my life. And so the simpler form of it is called dreams. Okay, and that stands for diet, reflection, right, which is journaling and taking account, being conscious of what I'm doing and what have you. The E is exercise. The A is affirmations in terms of the type of declarations that I say about my intentions and what I seek to do and the principles I live my life. The M is meditation,
Yes.
and the S is sleep. And guess what? There's an app out there that literally every single component of my personal philosophy for well-being holistically is captured in, and that's Manulife Vitality. Okay. And so each of those things you can explore through there in one way or another. And so, I couldn't recommend it enough because it's aligned with me. And I think it's going to create a lot of value for a lot of people.
I can't express my appreciation. I just having a meeting with a client, and we started talking about, you know, things that are financial, but then I wanted to know how much water she had for the last and how her sleep was going, and whether or not she was getting any sunlight or looking in the sun, to get that cortisol breakdown happening. And we talked about exercise, and we talked about laughter. And by the end of it, we'd had about a 45-minute conversation with the meaningful parts of her business well taken care of, but now sort of going through that checklist about how you've been feeling and how is it, like where are with those things. Anyway, she measured well, and it reflected in her in all of her just her affect, her presence. And so you're so right. What a keen insight. I appreciate it, Winston. And listen, we will
Appreciate it.
have we will create series of these as time allows. But thanks again for being on and sharing your story.
My pleasure.